Hey Sagittarius, pull up a chair and get comfortable, because this isn't just another tarot reading, it's a divine intervention dressed in everyday language. Welcome back to Zodiac Talks Tarot, where we don't sugarcoat the stars, we translate them. And today? The universe isn't whispering. It's yelling. If you're here, it's not by chance. It's because your soul RSVP'd to this message long before you hit play. This one's for the chosen ones, the misfits turned mentors, the fire starters who've been walking through storms with dry matches in their pockets. And especially for you, Sagittarius, because let's face it, you've never done life the easy way. You prefer the scenic route with broken signs and surprise detours. But you know what? That crooked path is about to straighten. The year of triumph 2025 is here, and you're standing at the very edge of a breakthrough. Let's talk about that urgency you've been feeling, like something big is coming, but it's stuck just outside the frame. That's not anxiety. That's divine timing holding its breath. And now, it exhales. The energy shift, from survival to sovereignty. The energy coming through is undeniable. Your life is not about to change, it's already in motion. Whether you realize it or not, the wheels started turning the moment you stopped pretending you were fine. There's a revolution underway, and it's happening at the core of who you are. Not the image. Not the resume. Not the titles. The real you, the soul who's wrestled with self-doubt at 3 a.m., yet still got up and showed the world a smile at 8. In this shift, the spiritual realm is less interested in your plans and more invested in your decisions. Because decision is power. And Sagittarius, you're about to make one that alters everything. No, it won't be a neon-lit, movie moment kind of decision. It'll be subtle. A conversation you walk away from. A habit you finally break. A door you finally lock, not out of fear, but because you respect your own peace. And in that moment, the frequency of your life tilts. This is the season where the seeds you forgot you planted start blooming, in money, in love, in career, and especially in your inner landscape. Think of it as your spirit finally catching up to your intentions. That old dream you shelved years ago because life got in the way? Dust it off. The window of opportunity is opening again. But this time, you're walking through it with clarity, not confusion. The burnout was a blessing in disguise. Let's address the fatigue, shall we? Many of you have felt heavy, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. Some of you even flirted with depression, though you kept it under wraps like a guilty secret. Because people think Sagittarius is always upbeat, always fiery. But here's the truth, even fire signs need to dim the flame and rest. You didn't fail, Sag. You were healing. You've been carrying emotional debts that were never yours to repay. Guilt projected onto you by others. Expectations they never met themselves. Promises broken in your hands. It's no wonder you've been exhausted, you've been running on a treadmill built by someone else. But now? That ends. This next season isn't about performing. It's about becoming. And you, my friend, are becoming someone they won't even recognize. That's not a threat. That's a prophecy. They'll say, you've changed. And you'll say, thank God. Love, the rebooted edition. Now let's peek into the heart. Oh yes, we're going there. Love is circling back, but not like before. We're not talking about toxic rebounds or breadcrumb apologies wrapped in poetic texts. This is something deeper. For those of you still nursing a heartbreak, the good news is, it doesn't own you anymore. You've learned the most powerful magic of all, detachment with grace. That person who ghosted you thinking you'd chase them forever? They're coming back, only to find the door no longer opens. Why? Because you outgrew their chaos. You're not the same person who once begged for crumbs. Now, you're the banquet. And for those of you ready for new love, get this, someone is entering your life who doesn't want to fix you, test you, or change you. They want to see you shine. They're not a savior. They're a mirror. And they will reflect the version of you you've been fighting to become. This love won't feel like fireworks. It'll feel like exhaling after holding your breath for years. The comeback in career and finances. Financially, this is a game-changer moment. Many of you have been grinding in silence, building things no one applauded. You've planted seeds that seemed to die in the soil. But the truth is, some seeds take time because they're not flowers, they're trees. Deep roots, slow rise, strong branches. Now, the soil is fertile. The harvest is near. Expect unexpected income, and no, this isn't spiritual clickbait. We're talking real opportunities, promotions, job offers, business deals, inheritances, debt relief, surprise gifts, or cosmic loopholes. And for the chosen ones, the ones who gave without keeping score, this return is karmically backed. The year of triumph 2025 favors bold, ethical action. So don't sit back and manifest from the couch. Align with the opportunity. Show up. Say yes. Be seen. And if someone offers you a deal that sounds too good to be true, read the fine print. Your intuition is your greatest lawyer right now. Let's be real, Sagittarius, you've survived emotional earthquakes that would have made lesser signs curl up in a blanket burrito for eternity. But you kept going. Not because you weren't hurting, but because you knew one unshakable truth: the only way out is through. Now, the universe is responding. Not with sympathy, but with correction. Because somewhere along the way, people mistook your kindness for weakness. They misread your silence as submission. And worst of all, they projected their shadows onto your light. And so, we arrive at this moment, a spiritual detox, a karma cleanse that doesn't just balance the scales, but flips the whole damn table. The energetic break, when envy hits like a curse. Some of you have felt blocked, stuck, like every time you take 2 steps forward, something invisible yanks you back. You double-checked your habits, your intentions, even your star chart. Nothing made sense. That's because it wasn't about you. Sagittarius, some of the resistance in your life came from jealousy, psychic debris, spiritual envy, the kind of bad vibes that don't come with receipts. Sometimes, it was subtle, a friend who kept score. A relative who clapped quietly. A coworker who asked too many questions about your success with a crooked smile. Other times, it was blunt, betrayal, sabotage, even hex-like energy. Yes, real energy interference. And not the woo-woo kind, we're talking vibrational warfare. The kind that shows up as insomnia, unexplained fatigue, financial stagnation, or sudden conflict. But here's the twist. That negative energy wasn't stronger than you, it was just feeding off your lack of boundaries. The good news? That era is over. Whatever pact was made in the energetic realm, whether consciously or unconsciously, is now null and void. The universe has reassigned your guardians. Spiritual reinforcements have arrived. And if you're one of the chosen ones, this isn't just a coincidence. It's a divine recall. You're being summoned back to yourself. You're not crazy. You're recovering. Let's talk about mental clarity for a second. Because many Sagittarius souls reading this have spent the last year feeling a bit foggy. Scattered thoughts. Confused heart. Second-guessing every choice. Feeling like your gut was speaking French and your head was speaking static. That wasn't madness. That was the spiritual equivalent of an update rebooting your system. Think of it like this: you were running on outdated code, and Source was quietly installing a new operating system in the background. That slow period. That was the buffering. But now? You're rebooted. Expect your intuition to spike, your mind to feel sharper, and, here's the kicker, people who used to manipulate you won't even make it past your energy field. Their tricks just won't work anymore. You've upgraded. Family patterns and ancestral healing. Let's zoom out. Way out. There are some of you, and you know who you are, who've been carrying wounds that didn't start with you. Family patterns. Generational cycles. Unspoken grief. Maybe you were the emotional shock absorber for your whole household growing up. Maybe you were the black sheep with a gold soul. But listen carefully, you weren't cursed. You were chosen. Chosen to break the chain. And in these next 60 days, there's a frequency shift in your bloodline. You may have a reconciliation with a parent. Or forgive someone who never even apologized. You may uncover a secret about your ancestry, something that makes you understand why you've always felt like the different one. Whatever it is, it'll be freeing. Because healing your lineage isn't about changing the past. It's about making sure the pain doesn't repeat through you. You're the one your ancestors prayed for. Don't forget that. The emotional reset, feel, don't drown. Now let's bring it back to you. Emotions. Yeah, those pesky little soul flares. You've been on an emotional roller coaster lately, haven't you? One day it's hope. The next, it's hopelessness. Joy in the morning, existential dread by lunch. That's not instability. That's sensitivity. And Sagittarius, contrary to popular belief, you're a deeply emotional sign. You just package it in optimism and sarcasm. But the truth is, you feel deeply, wildly, and often silently. So what now? The stars are asking you to balance your fire. Don't suppress the emotion, but don't let it drive the car either. Meditate. Walk, journal. Scream into a pillow if you must. But don't text your ex, seriously. One more thing, the heart chakra needs your attention. That's your home base for forgiveness, compassion, and trust. It's also where you store emotional scar tissue. If you can, try 7 days of heart-centered meditation or even just writing the affirmation. I live in a state of grace and gratitude. Not once. Not twice. But over and over until your energy field reabsorbs that truth. Because that's who you are beneath the scars, not just a warrior, but a graceful, grateful being who survived hell and still chooses to love. Proposals, contracts and destiny's deal. This next part is no joke, you're about to receive a proposition. It could be a job, a relationship, a collaboration, a creative project. But it's more than a yes/no moment, it's a contract with your future. Now, read carefully. This offer may look ordinary, but its ripple effect will be anything but. You might get a casual text, a subtle DM, a spontaneous invitation. Pay attention. Because the universe isn't going to drop this one in gold wrapping. It wants to see if you trust your gut more than your doubts. Say yes, if it aligns with your spirit, not just your ego. And remember, not all glitter is gold, but what's meant for you will glow quietly. Sagittarius Part 3, the 60-day countdown, Destiny's curveball and the moment your arrow hits. Sagittarius, your ruling planet, Jupiter, doesn't whisper. It roars. And right now, it's roaring opportunity, but with a catch. You've entered a 60-day portal of transformation. This isn't some fluffy spiritual metaphor. It's real. Over the next 2 months, every decision, every yes or no, every gut feeling you follow, or ignore, is setting off a domino effect. And unlike the past, this time the universe isn't testing you. It's trusting you. And that's the scariest thing of all, isn't it? To be trusted with your own destiny. Tick. Tick. Boom, but in a good way. Imagine a countdown clock ticking softly in the background of your life. Not ominous. Just steady. Rhythmic. This is the energy right now, not of crisis, but of convergence. All timelines, the paths you might have walked, the mistakes you made, the roads you abandoned, they're all merging into one, the path that finally makes sense. But it requires a final decision. For some, it might be ending a cycle that's gone stale, a job, a relationship, an old version of yourself that's running on fumes. For others, it's taking a risk you've been too scared to try, launching that business, applying for that visa, calling that truce. Whatever it is, once you say yes to it, the shift begins. This is the spiritual version of when the arrow finally leaves the bow. Your whole life has been the draw. Now comes the flight. What they took from you comes back upgraded. Let's talk betrayal. Not the petty stuff. The soul-cracking kind. The kind that made you question your self-worth, your sanity, your ability to trust. You were generous with your energy, and someone used it like a coupon with no expiration date. They took your trust. Maybe even your money. Your love. Your time. Your ideas. But here's what they didn't take, your essence. And because of that, the universe is orchestrating a full circle moment. Some of you will literally be offered back what was taken, a new job offer, an apology, a repayment. Others will receive a better version of what they thought they lost, a more aligned partner, a stronger opportunity, a clearer direction. But get this, when it shows up, you'll barely care. Because by then, you'll have already learned that they didn't break you. They built you. And that's the best revenge. Humor break, your Sagittarius spirit guide says. Alright, let's lighten up for a second, because if anyone knows how to find humor in a spiritual crisis, it's Sagittarius. Your spirit guides have jokes. Truly. They've watched you cry over someone who couldn't spell loyalty. Apologize for outgrowing your environment. Doubt your magic because someone else was threatened by it. And they're like, we gave you wings and you're worried about people who can't even walk straight. You've got to laugh, Sag. Not everything is a cosmic conspiracy. Sometimes people are just messy. And sometimes, so are you. But the difference is, you own it. Laughter is a form of alchemy. So laugh at your past. Laugh at your detours. Laugh at the fact that your love life sometimes feels like a deleted scene from a tragic comedy. Then, get back to the business of thriving. The arrow moment, Sagittarius, this is it. You've been waiting for a sign. Well, here it is. Your arrow is already in motion. You've done the prep work. The healing. The detachment. You've cried the necessary tears. You've closed the doors that needed closing, even when they had your favorite memories behind them. And now? Impact is inevitable. The dream you launched in your prayers is about to land in real life. The call is coming. The yes is coming. The breakthrough is coming. Not because the universe finally remembers you, but because you finally remembered yourself. This is the year of triumph 2025, and you're not just part of it. You're leading it. You're not surviving. You're soaring. And if you're scared, that's okay. Sometimes, the arrow trembles right before it hits the mark. The ritual, the revelation, and the return to your true self. We've walked through the battlefield, Sagittarius. The losses, the lessons, the moments you almost gave up. We've stood at the edge of opportunity, of healing, of second chances, and now it's time to land. Because a spiritual awakening is meaningless if it doesn't change how you live, love, speak, spend, forgive, and create. This isn't just about magic. It's about alignment. And your soul has been realigning, not just to receive blessings, but to become one. Let's close this chapter with clarity, power, and purpose. Your sacred ritual, the 7-day shift. You've been in spiritual boot camp, SAG, and now it's time to activate. Here's a simple, powerful 7-day practice to ground everything you've been manifesting. Think of it as a reset button, not just for your mind, but for your vibration. Daily decree, repeat aloud or write down each morning. Sparkles, I live in a state of grace and gratitude. Say it like you mean it. Write it if you can. Speak it into your coffee. Whisper it to your reflection. Murmur it before bed. This phrase is more than poetic. It's a frequency realignment. It turns your mind from survival to sovereignty. From lack to legacy. Bonus tip, pair it with Psalm 75 or a meditation playlist for heart chakra activation. Why? Because the heart is your compass now. The mind was your map. But the heart, that's your true north. 7 days. That's all it takes to shift reality. And in your case, reality is ready to shift with you. Why 2025 is not just a year. Let's talk about 2025 for a second. Astrologically, it's a crescendo year. A rebirth for those who've done the inner work, and a collapse for those who haven't. Not as punishment, but as realignment. And you, Sagittarius, have already been through the collapse. So 2025? It's not a warning. It's a homecoming. Expect unexpected prosperity, not from thin air, but from seeds you thought had died. Public recognition, not fame necessarily, but a moment where others finally see you. Romantic clarity, the "what are we" text will be answered, one way or another. Spiritual maturity, you'll stop begging the universe and start collaborating with it. In short, 2025 is where the plot twist becomes the plot point. And the chosen ones? You'll be leading the story. The message from future you. Close your eyes for a second. Picture yourself 1 year from now. Calm. Radiant. No longer obsessed with timelines or validation. Just grounded. That version of you? They're not smarter. Not more attractive. Not richer. They're simply more integrated. Less distracted. More present. Less reactive. And if they could speak to you right now, they'd say, I'm proud of you. Not because you did everything right, but because you didn't let the wrong things stop you. You kept moving. Even when it didn't make sense. Even when it hurt. And now, I'm living the life you fought for. Let that sink in. Everything you're doing now, the forgiveness, the boundaries, the meditations, the sacrifices, it's not just self-care. It's soul maintenance. A final thought for the chosen ones. Sagittarius, the world needs your fire. Not just your passion or your brilliance. But your audacity. Your willingness to explore when others retreat. Your refusal to shrink. Your laughter in the face of chaos. You are the eternal student, and now, the reluctant teacher. You didn't ask to be a chosen one. But here you are, chosen by trial, by truth, by the turbulence of your own becoming. Wear it with humility. Lead with laughter. And love with wisdom. And as you go forward into this year of triumph 2025, remember. Let your joy be louder than your trauma. Let your growth confuse those who still see the old you. And let your arrow hit not just a goal, but a purpose. Because you were never meant to blend in, Sagittarius. You were built to blaze a trail. Hey Sag, if this message resonated with you, if you felt it in your bones, not just in your ears, let me know in the comments. Just type I claim this energy or share how your story aligns. And if you're part of the chosen ones, or walking into your year of triumph 2025, drop a fire emoji. Let's light this place up. Don't forget to like this video, it feeds the algorithm and the angels. Subscribe to Zodiac Talks Tarot if you haven't. Share with another Sagittarius who needs a cosmic pep talk. As always, grace, grit, gratitude. Namaste, chosen ones.